pathetic. Thank you. My name is Morgan Clendaniel. I'm the editor of Fast Coexist, which is part of Fast Company's website that deals with world-changing ideas and innovation. We're going to be talking to these lovely folks from the Global Gaming Initiative about what they're working on. So to start, I mean, the genesis story of your project is pretty interesting. It starts with you, Alejandro, and your little trip you took. So I don't know if you want to talk about that and sort of how that inspiration sort of began.
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks, Morgan. I'm Alejandro, fellow co-founder of Global Gaming Initiative, and this whole idea started about 3 years ago. I actually had the opportunity to travel to Ecuador in the Chimborazo province, working in different villages, building schools and wells through this nonprofit, Free the Children. And this one story of this one boy that I met, it really bothered me. This little boy named Javier, 10 years old, and I met him at one of the villages we were helping to build a school for. And here I am, building a school, and I'm talking to this young boy, and he says he doesn't want to go to school. It's not worth his time. I was just so confused, I didn't understand why. So talking to him in Spanish, I said, how is that possible? Why would you not want an education? And he said that it takes him 3 hours every day to get to and from school. And he has, he told me he has 4 younger siblings and only his mom, because his dad has to work in the big cities to raise enough money to take care of the family. So I was just completely shocked. It was like a problem that I could never fathom in my great life in suburban Minneapolis, Minnesota. And so when I came home, I talked to all my friends, I talked to my sister, I talked to my mom, my dad, pretty much everyone about this little boy, Javier. I wanted to figure out how can we impact the life of Javier and all the Javiers all around the world.
And then Alejandro looked at me one day and he said, "Mom, you've got to figure out a way to help Javier." And of course I started laughing because I'm from Colombia, South America, and I know there's thousands, if not millions, of Javiers in the world. And how would it be possible that we could actually help his plight? First of all, how would anybody even know about Javier? And secondly, how could we really impact some kind of difference in his life where he could actually get to school? So we looked at the transportation issue as being one of those barriers that people didn't know about. And we tried to figure out, wow, what can we do to really make this connection happen globally? That's how the Global Gaming Initiative was started. We decided that by developing mobile games and connecting them through social media on a social platform, we could affect global change. And one of the ways in which we do that, actually the most exciting way in which we do that, is that we develop fast, fun, and really accessible games. So you play our games and you make a difference.
Can we talk about sort of that logical leap there? How you got from helping Javier to it being doing it in game form? Or what was that thought process like?
Definitely. The most enjoyable thing that we've had throughout history is playing games, whether they're board games or they're outdoor sports, and now through using technology, playing games on your smartphone is actually something that we have over 1 billion users of smartphones in the world, and that's going to be 1.5 billion by the end of the year. And imagine all the people that are always playing games. So wouldn't it be cool if we played a game and that game made a social difference? So our company designates 50% of its proceeds towards the nonprofit partner that we're sponsoring. And our first game that you're going to see in a little bit is Sidekick Cycle. And we donate bikes to kids in sub-Saharan Africa.
Do you guys want to show the game now? Is that now a good time? Great.
Yeah, let's check it out.
So here's a preview of the game. All right. Good job. So, I guess first of all, the game sort of links up with World Bicycle Relief, right? Which is an organization that gives kids bicycles so they can get to school and get to the doctors. How did you sort of pick them, and what is that relationship like? What is it like as a sort of gaming company working with a non-profit?
We selected World Bicycle Relief because of Javier. Javier was really the seed that created the mission and vision for Global Gaming Initiative. We really wanted to figure out a way to help Javier and all the Javiers of the world. So we decided to tackle the transportation issue first.
But generally, here at Global Gaming Initiative, we have one main metric for picking a nonprofit. We want to find nonprofits that are, one, top class, but two, they can deliver tangible goods, something physically that can lead to upward mobility and growth. So World Bicycle Relief is a perfect example. Nothing better than a bike so that a kid can go to school, and that'll completely change his or her life. So in the future, for every mobile game we do, we're going to stick to having a nonprofit partner that delivers these kind of tangible goods so that we can tell our players, look, you are involved in giving this tangible good, and you are powerful.
So in this game that you just saw, for every 387 downloads, one kid gets a bike in sub-Saharan Africa to go to school. So as Alejandro pointed out, it is really hard when you're designing games for charity and you're giving away your own money. You really want to make sure that that nonprofit is doing exactly what they say they're doing. So we took an additional step. We sent 2 of our employees to do the Zambia ride program, and they got to experience exactly what it was like to ride a bike from one village to another, to actually build a bike and go to the bike mechanic shops, and they got to participate in the ceremony when they do the bike drops. So we feel that World Bicycle Relief is just best in class in the way that they do their self-sustaining model, because at the end of the day, Global Gaming Initiative is about being a self-sustaining model, so we want to partner with nonprofits that are also in alignment with us.
And sort of what has your working relationship with them been like? Did they help sort of inform the gameplay or the model? How does that work?
We've had numerous meetings with them over the last 2 years, everyone from FK Day, the founder of World Bicycle Relief, to people that work running their organization. And they've obviously been extremely excited because no one has ever done a game that enhances their nonprofit. They also have to be a little bit cautious about having us in the limelight compared to other people that donate to them. But obviously they're super excited that we'll be bringing more attention to them and more people participating in something that they're already doing really well. They've already donated over 135,000 bikes. So they do a great job.
So let's talk a little about sort of the genesis of making the game and figuring out the gameplay. So Elizabeth, you were actually here at Games for Change 2 years ago, which sort of set off the process of making this game. But I imagine it wasn't, super easy. So I don't know if you want to talk about both how it started and any sort of the pitfalls that have happened along the way.
Sure. Thanks, Morgan, for asking that question. Yeah, you might think I'm a little crazy after you hear my story, and I really wouldn't blame you, but I started 2 years ago. After Alejandro returned from his trip in Ecuador and really wanted to figure out a way to help the Javiers of the world, we knew that it would be through some form of technology, and we knew that it would be with smartphones. So we thought, well, the best way to do that was through games. And I sat in this audience and I listened to everyone, and I found some amazing mentors to speak to, and some of them who I still keep in touch with all the time. But one of the things I learned was congruency, and that was a really tough thing because in order to really reach the masses, we needed to have a game that was fast, fun, and easy, but yet congruent to what we were delivering on the ground. So we had a first go-round where we spent 12 months, a lot of time and resources, as you can imagine. And that game never made it to the marketplace because it wasn't congruent. My marketing team, like 8 weeks prior to launch, they said, Elizabeth, this game isn't good. Nobody's gonna have any understanding of what this has to do with bikes. And of course, I was like really sad because it was a long, hard journey and a lot of people were involved. So we put that game on the shelf and then decided to go out pretty much around the world and basically went to all the top mobile game developers in Finland, in the US, just in Europe, everywhere, to find the right team that could really understand how to make the game congruent to what we were trying to do, because that's a very integral part to the Global Gaming Initiative. And we feel really fortunate that we have a couple of veteran game developers on our team, Eric Stein and Scott Balaban, who have joined us to ensure both the congruency and great gameplay. Without a great product, you can't do any social change. If people don't download our game and don't love what they're doing, there's going to be no change that happens.
Can you, not to dwell on past mistakes, but can you talk a little more about the first game and sort of what was incongruent about it, and then sort of what you tried to improve upon in the next version?
Thanks, Morgan. I think that one of the things that was incongruent about it was, for example, there was a game that I played, and it was Asteroids in the App Store a couple of years ago, and they gave money to a whale foundation, and that's really cool, but nobody had any idea that they were related. So you didn't understand that by playing the game, you were actually doing something for whales. Our first game, it didn't have anything to do with bikes. It had to do with obstacles that you might find in different parts of Africa, but it didn't have anything to do with the actual bikes. And the player didn't get the feeling and the joy. Like yesterday, I was riding a city bike, for example, here in New York, and it was so cool. It was like, I felt like I was part of the New York crowd. Now, if you don't feel like you're doing that in the game, then you have no way of knowing that that's what you're giving towards. And our first game lacked that completely. And we just didn't have enough social tie-ins in our first game. Now, everything about this game is tell your friends, play with your friends, tell the world. That's how we make change happen.
Yeah, so can you talk about that a little more, sort of what you've integrated into the game to make besides just that it is on a bike?
Yeah, so besides the gameplay itself, there's one key element that we here at Global Gaming Initiative call the feedback loop. So as I said earlier about the tangible goods, we want to deliver something physical that can directly lead to growth for people in the world. And so with the feedback loop, we want to tell our players exactly how many players it takes or how many downloads it takes for one of those tangible goods, so that if I download the game, I'm responsible for 1/387th of a bike for a kid that will completely change his or her life. So that's something that's very integral, something that's a cornerstone of our model for our games here. And that's something that we think our consumers really want, because they want to feel connected to a cause and feel that just by playing a game in their free time, they can really make a tangible change in the world. That's something really powerful.
And I think for us, too, the aha moment that we came to realize was, people often said to me, well, Elizabeth, if you want to give bikes or help people, why don't you just donate it, the money to these people? And the aha moment was, that day when it was like dawned upon a lot of my peers that it wasn't about just donating the money, it was about providing a place, a platform, an area where people could come together, play a game, and make a social difference, and to do it on a big scale.
So besides the first game and sort of figuring that out, no, I mean, just, we're here to talk about sort of the challenges of creating these kind of games. Sort of as, people not from this industry and not from this world, what have you found to sort of be the biggest challenges to sort of overcome in creating this game?
Well, one thing is, making games is really hard. Really hard. And how we came to overcome that was that we were able to find people that were right in alignment with us and veteran game developers. It's really great. If you're going to produce a product that can compete at the App Store anywhere near where we hope that will be, you have to have people that have a lot of experience and understand what it takes to design a really great game that appeals to the masses. So that was one of the key learnings, and also to have a huge network and to be able to call on so many people that I met here 2 years ago in this audience. I'm still in conversation with them, and that makes a big difference. And if we all work together to really make the best games possible, I think we can impact social change.
Yeah, and what about you, Alejandro? Especially as a very young person, sort of taking on this enormous challenge.
So one challenge for us is that the Apple platform, they don't allow charity apps, nor should they. And so what we're doing is we're trying to fuse, a great game that everyone can play no matter who you are. My 4-year-old cousin or my 83-year-old grandma, they both love playing it. We want to fuse, that accessibility with something that can make a tangible difference. And to do that, it's got to be first and foremost a standalone product, something that you can play just because it's really fun before anything else. And that's something we definitely reiterate here at Global Gaming Initiative, that it's got to be first and foremost about play, because without the play, we can't make the difference that we really hope to make.
So you talked about sort of your hopes. What sort of metrics are you going for and measuring? What do you sort of hope the end result of this game is?
Well, we definitely want to give Javier a bike, so that's for sure. And we want to give the most bikes away through our first game as possible. We'll start with Sub-Saharan Africa, and then go on to different parts of the world. So our metrics is get as many people playing this game as possible, make a difference.
And then sort of beyond that, I mean, you're called the Global Gaming Initiative, not just the Sidekick Cycle initiative. So what's the next step in sort of creating these global games? Is it more games? Is it?
Yeah, a couple of things, Morgan. One of them will be more games, but also we're going to localize in 10 different languages. So pretty quickly out the door, after we get Sidekick Cycle out, we're going to be in 10 languages. We want people in all different countries to be able to play the game and feel like they're a part of this movement, to feel inclusive. That's also one of the cornerstones of our business model. And as far as other games are concerned in the future, we'll definitely, lots of excellent nonprofits have been talking to us, and of course, when we design a game that starts with selecting what that need is. So we look at it from the bottom. We don't just connect any game to a cause. So yeah, we will definitely develop other games.
Great. I think we're going to take some questions from the audience. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, you.
You said that Apple doesn't have charities and
So yeah, Apple, they don't have any apps where you can donate now or anything along those lines. And the reason why they shouldn't is because that's not their core competency. They shouldn't have to try to figure out whether a nonprofit is doing what they say they're doing. And so that's one thing we do. We vet out these nonprofits, find the best in class, and allow players through our games to make, be a part of collective social change.
So,
For us, it's an opt-in. It's an opt-in model. So you get to play our game and you get to make a difference. Apple is all about their products, and that's what they do.
so basically, it's the only charity aspect is that the 99 cents you're donating half of it to World Bicycle Relief. On non-Apple platforms, are you sort of planning for more in-game donation-y stuff?
On non-Apple platforms, we can pretty much do anything we want, but our general giving statement and the mission of our company is to give 50% of our proceeds to the nonprofit partner we're sponsoring. So actually, we will do that in anything that we do, whether it's in-app purchasing or items that we sell.
Hi, this has been very interesting. Thank you. I work for a nonprofit. I have two questions. One, how'd you come up with the number 387? Is that what kind of breaks even for you?
No, that is for one bicycle through the World Bicycle Relief Program. It's $134. So we are giving 50% of the gross sales of the 99-cent download fee towards the bike. So it's hybrid between a freemium and a premium model. We want people to be able to participate in change, so it's kind of like micro giving at its best.
Right. So that number is sort of arbitrary. It's some formula.
Yes, the
That's-
number is a formula, and it can change with whatever the tangible good is that we're donating.
Okay. My second question is, and thank you for accepting the second question, is you said that you worked with a nonprofit, very closely, et cetera, for a couple of years, which is quite amazing. Was there a financial contribution from the nonprofit, or was it simply human resources that you needed from the nonprofit and their expertise in the field?
No financial contribution from the nonprofit. We want to give them a financial contribution.
Thank you.
Hi, Anthony Garrett from Internews. Traffic crashes are one of the 5 biggest killers of kids in Africa. And I was wondering if you consider integrating in traffic safety into some of the games.
Maybe. However, as we spoke to earlier, our respect is very high for World Bicycle Relief and the way in which they do their bike programs, the training, and the way in which they allocate the bikes to the different members of the family. They typically give it to the youngest member of the family, and it's really a really good model.
One more. You had your hand up before.
Thanks. Rich Fessel from Orchard Life Foundation. When you put the company together, and since you're giving 50% of the money to the nonprofit, do you have a mechanism to provide tax relief to the people who are actually making the donations? In a sense, half the money is a donation to a nonprofit. Is there a 501c3 component to what you guys are doing?
Currently, we are in the process of establishing that so that we can reach out to foundations like yourself who would like to enhance our company, but we are a for-profit company, but we're currently working on that part of it, yes.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right. We're out of time. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day.